Hello, and welcome back to Mystery of Raid. The following is the hero story of Fi, the draconic ninja hero introduced in Uprising. As always, this story is a property of Legend Story Studios, and I'm here just to narrate it. This particular story was written by Edwin McRae and Rachel Reese, directed by Robbie Wen, and with illustrations from Sam Yang and Nikolai Moskvin. You can always find the written story at the Flesh and Blood TCG website, or through the link in the description. But now, please, enjoy the Fi hero story. Will they rise? Asks Ian as she ties back her silver hair, ready for battle. We have fed these people, given them hope. Fi wasn't as confident as he made out, but as his mother would say, bravery is in the belief. Ian jerks her thumb at the stack of sacks behind them, each stenciled with the tree and coin mark of the Golden Orchard estate. We fed them with stolen rice. We made them accomplices to our own hopes. In the eyes of the imperial court, they are as good as dead. Fi's mother had another saying: courage is born when choices die. They could have turned us in. They still might. No, they will rise. The generals have bled our people bone dry, while the Drakai live their bright and comfortable lives. We are the spark that will ignite a million fires. The Drakai will be forced to leash their infernal hounds, to govern with care, lest they face the full fury of the Volkai. Ian claps her hands, slow and sardonic. Well done for remembering your mother's speech. You don't believe it? When I see it, boy. The hours crawl by, restless yet sluggish like a river of lava. This is Fi's first mission for the rebellion, the raid against Valen's caravans and estate, where the gathering of kindling. Here the sparks will take, the fire will bloom. The fighting man in him boils with excitement, ready to pour all of his anguish, all of his anger upon these imperial oppressors. The frightened boy in him thrashes against his resolve, aching to flee back to Taoking, to hide among the glowing trees of the forest of flames and never come out. It is almost a relief to see the dust cloud in the distance, almost a pleasure to see General Raiku's vanguard poke its head like a giant black snake out of the foothills. So he does want his merchant back, says Ian. Fi glances at the bound and gagged woman, Phelan, purveyor of coal and rice, a woman of gold living off the salt of her serfs. Money talks when reason falls silent. That another of Ming's bloody sayings? No, one of mine. Then you're smarter than you look. Fi taps the scarred side of his face. I remembered my lessons. The old burn feels hot, inflamed, like his village in the night Raiku's soldiers took Dromai, the night he fled with the survivors into the forest. The thought of his sister only fans the flames of his anger. His sweating palms itch, yearning for the grip of his sword, but he breathes through the smoldering emotions, forces himself to calm. They have to listen to us, to the people. The admiration fades from Ian's grey eyes. I take it back. You're as dumb as you're ugly. We captured General Raiku. Fi put some steel in his voice, reminding Ian who's in charge of this mission. We use him as a bargaining tool in our negotiations with the Emperor. That's the plan. Ian draws her sword, tests the edge with her thumb. You hear me? She shrugs. Hope he's bringing some Drakai with him. Did you know dragon blood steams as it spills? Something furtive flickers in Ian's eyes. So I'm told. There is more she's not telling him, but Fi figures now is not the time to pry. If there are Drakai, we take them alive. They must see how we live, how we suffer, with their own eyes. Torvai changed, so can they. Ian turns away from him, sizes up the approaching army. Torvai was a dangerous fool. She carves a lazy figure eight in the air, working and warming her wrists. There are many roads to Esfahan, Fi. The trick is not to die before you get there. Wasn't planning to, Ian. They wait and watch as Raiku's army spreads like tar across the fields and farms. The soldiers settle in, occupying key positions as they prepare for an assault from within. Fi waits until they are comfortable, compromised, and lights the bonfire. Rebels throw off their Centauri disguises, mercenary allies turning to zealous enemies before the Imperial startled eyes. Farmers pounce from hedge and hole, using their knowledge of the land to throw their unwitting visitors into chaos. Raiku's carefully chosen positions become death traps as his soldiers clash with rebels on all sides. Fi and Ian charge with their veteran ninjas down the hillside. They puncture the enemy's flanks like a dagger slipping between plates of armor. Sword points stab at frightened faces and pierce screaming throats. Blades slice through raised wrists and craning necks. Like reapers in a field, the raiders harvest life and limb, quenching the earth with imperial blood. Yet for every soldier that falls to the rebel ferocity, 3 farmers fall to the cold, hard rigors of military training. Hammers and axes are no match for spears and halberds. Anger is no match for discipline. The people wail and weep as friends and family fall. Some surrender, some run, leaving Fi's ninjas to face the Empire alone. Cowards, hisses Ian. Again, Min's words ring through the din of battle. Bravery is in the belief. Though his weary muscles ache, his lungs gasp for breath, Fi meets a charging foe with a perfect strike that takes the man's head clean off. Hot blood spatters across his chest and face. Through the pulsing heart of the battle, Fi sees a raven-haired general upon his flame-maned steed. He remembers the cruel lines of that lean face, the gleam of the imperial dragon on his golden breastplate. He remembers the flames of his burning village reflected in those dark eyes. "To me," roars Fi. He blocks a lunging halberd and drives his sword through the wielder's face, splitting the soldier's skull like an apple. As he tugs his blade free, he feels rather than sees Ian and the remaining rebels fall in behind. Their courage fuels his own, and he leaps once more into the fray. Bloodied Imperials tumble to the ground as Fi's fighters slash a path through the melee. They do not stop, do not even pause for breath, until Fi is but a sword's length from General Raikou. Where are those bedamned Drakai? It is a desperate screech from Raikou to a bewildered lieutenant. Fi sees the glistening fear in the general's eyes. He surges forward to make the most of the man's moment of weakness, only to collide with a cliff face of muscle and hardened leather. The giant bodyguard growls like a charbear and swings at Fi with a broad-bladed battle axe. Though Fi spins away as quick as his reflexes will allow, the soldier's speed belies his bulk. The axe tip scores a searing line across Fi's side. Yet the pain only serves to drive the battle weariness from Fi's limbs. It lifts the exhausted fog from his mind. He sees a way to reach the general, and takes it. Fi feints high, then drives his sword through the bodyguard's meaty thigh. The weapon sticks fast. Fi doesn't yank it free. Where he is going, he won't need it. This mad endeavor will either work or he'll be dead, and his brave rebels with him. The man howls with rage and raises his axe to squash the unarmed ant before him. Fi catches hold of his breastplate, steps onto the sword handle jutting from his leg, and climbs him like a tree. From the surprised giant's shoulders, Fi launches himself at Raikou's horse and lands astride its hindquarters. Before Raikou can turn to wonder at his passenger, Fi has the general's own dagger at his throat. He presses his lips to the man's ear and hisses, "I am willing to die for my people. Are you?" "Lay down your weapons." It comes out as a squeak, but the closest lieutenant relays the order. Hoarse shouts from nearby officers echo the general's surrender. They are soon followed by the clatter of dropped spears and halberds. Fi can see the relief in the soldiers' eyes. They didn't want this fight any more than the farmers did. Perhaps some had cousins here, even brothers and sisters. The only difference between fighters and the farmers is whether they carry a halberd or a hoe. Fi escorts Raikou to their hilltop camp, while the farmers and soldiers turn to the work of gathering and burning their dead. It becomes a shared chore. Most of these soldiers were farm folk once. It is an easy return to their roots, instinctual and welcome. Only a few need to be bound and watched. The city-born officers, groomed from birth to serve the draconic codes. Fi pitches in with his people, carting corpses with care, building pyres for their funeral rites. He works until dusk, until a scream from the hilltop sends him sprinting through the camp. He knocks down a woman, bringing water to the wounded, barks a hasty apology, and continues running. 2 more screams echo down from the hilltop before he gets there. Phelin's violent scream is cut off as Eon runs her blade across the merchant's throat. Blood gushes over Eon's knife hand and down the woman's plush ash fur coat. Her painted eyes lose their luster, and the richest woman in the east topples onto the dirt. Nearby, Raikou howls through his gag and struggles with his bonds. No, growls Vi. This is the way of revenge, not revolution. He points down the hillside at the toiling Volkai. Our numbers have already grown. Word is spreading. What better way than to write those words in blood? Let the Drakai read their doomed futures in freshly gutted entrails. Ian sinks her knife into the twitching woman's belly and opens her from flank to flank. Vi looks away as a gorge rises in his throat. Ian laughs as she kneels beside the general and cleans Valen's blood from her knife with Raiku's cloak. Too disgusted to hear what she had to say? You tortured her. She would have told you anything to make you stop. Ian stands and shrugs. Sounded true to me. She recites a list of the names and homes of the Drakai that Valen had taken an interest in. There is a mischievous glint in her eye as she says the last name, having kept the best to last. Dromai. The name is a slap to Vi's face. His scars burn hot in his flesh. You know where she is? I told you there are many roads to Ashvahan, boy. She points her bloody dagger at General Raikou. The trick is knowing who to kill to get there.